Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of the Locked On Cavs podcast. I'm Chris Manning. That's Evan Dammerall. On today's show, we are going to talk all about Cavs Heat, which the Cavs won, picking up their first win in South Beach since 2010. So let's dive into today's show, which we'll all cover that. Want to also thank you for making Locked On Cavs your first listen every day. Remember, we are free and available on all platforms.
You are Locked On Cavs, your daily Cleveland Cavaliers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Today's episode, by the way, is also brought to you by Shopify, the all-in-one commerce platform to start, run, and grow your business. Scaling your business is a journey of endless possibility. So start now at shopify.com/LockedOnNBA. That is all lowercase, by the way. Evan, before we get into today's show, what we should note that we're going to change things up a little bit in how we're going to cover games going on. We're doing a little infrastructure building. We're doing a little bit of building up our lanes for uses of bikes instead of cars, really making this a people focused, people first transit system. This is
It's
going to
just
be
really long-winded just to say we're shaking things up.
yeah, I just have to have bits because you have killed me, and now because of you, I like to do bits. So yeah. So what we're gonna do, first segment of a game recap is gonna be our big takeaway, the big thing you should be thinking about coming out of this game. Second segment will be our normal awards, so stat of the night, MVP, and the play of the night. And the last segment is gonna be our little like bits of popcorn, little snacks of little things that we noticed throughout the game that maybe aren't the biggest takeaway, something that we're not gonna spend a ton of time on, but we're still gonna dive into. We'll come up with a fun name for that, perhaps. If someone comes up with one, we'll give you a shout out on the show. But yeah, let's dive into it.
Actually, before we start, shout out to everyone who's reached out and let us know that we are a part of their Spotify Unwrapped this year. It means a lot, really. It's really cool, honestly, to see that we're one of your regular listens on a day-to-day basis. And
even you, Justin Rowan.
But I want to give a special shout out to Carter Ostrowski, who DM'd me his screenshot saying, "Love the show." Carter, we appreciate that. And this episode's for you. Anyways, guys, if you are a Spotify listener, I don't know why the heck you're not at this point. It's not just because my employer owns them, but let us know. We'll give you shout outs at the show to wrap up the year because there's about a month left, a little less than a month left in 2021, which is hard to believe. We're creeping up on my 2-year anniversary of the show. So yeah, no, really appreciate it. But Chris,
Evan,
what was your
wait. Your employer doesn't own Spotify.
Facebook on Spotify?
I don't think so.
Facebook is expanding Spotify partnership with a new Boombox product. They've owned Spotify forever, dude. Remember when you could connect your Facebook account to your Spotify account so you could share with people?
I don't use Facebook. Anyway, all right. Here's the deal.
What was your broad takeaway from Cavs Heat last night? Besides the general, they broke a 11-year losing streak.
Well, that's to me is sort of it because like I kind of just think the Cavs like as a team, they handled this game in a way that I think sort of made it work, right? Like I think the Cavs as a team came out really hot, looked really good. This absolutely wasn't the Heat were without Bam Adebayo, who was going to miss a bunch of time with a finger injury. Jimmy Butler was out for this game.
Thank goodness. Speaking of Jimmy Butler, I changed my sleeper pick from the Cavs game to their game against Indiana. So fingers crossed he plays.
For this Cavs team, they came out really hot. The Heat came back out with a ton of pressure, basically ran a full court press, lots of traps, threw a funky zone at the Cavs that it took the Cavs some time to figure out. The Heat got a little hot from three. The Cavs survived that push. And I don't think in the past that necessarily would have happened. I don't necessarily believe that the Cavs would have had the ability to kind of weather that. But they went into Miami, again, not a full strength Miami team, but they went into Miami. They won a game that on the schedule we would probably look at as a loss, a game they're probably going to lose, and they won. And kind of just navigated some drama. They navigated some pressure. They got good performances from some of their young stars. Like this is just the kind of win that is indicative, I think, of the quality of this Cavs team. I don't really know how, like on the spectrum of like how good this team actually is. I still don't really feel like I have a good grasp on that for a variety of reasons, but I think that this Cavs team has quality in a way that I think it's just time to acknowledge it. Again, it's just winning in Miami for them is just one of those things. It's like I thought when we were, I think when we were both coming up as people thinking about this team, like in the first Kyrie era, or that era when you start like learning more random stuff than just like going to the games and whatever. Like they had a really hard time winning in Indiana, and I can remember like them winning in Indiana when LeBron came back, and it was like a thing that Tristan and Kyrie in particular sort of were like, oh, this was an important moment for us. Like I kind of think that this is like this is obviously this is a different level of that because like it's not the same guys. It's just but it's just like a moment that the franchise has actually like done something in a way to me. I don't know. I'm probably making too much out of it, but it's just kind of cool.
No, it is really cool. And do you think a lot of this credit goes to JB for just kind of having his finger on the pulse of this team this whole season? Because I think about who has been coaching. I mean, I think Ty would have been able to coach. I don't know if Larry Drew would have been able to. I know John Boehline definitely would have. John Boehline did not handle pressure well at the NBA level, but I think JB has done a really good job. And I think this is another feather in his cap. Granted, like you said, the Heat did not have Bam Adebayo. They did not have Jimmy Butler. They were essentially playing a G League squad at some better parts of the night. I mean, Dwayne Dedmon was getting meaningful minutes for Miami, but
Yeah, I mean he's above a G League guy. That's like a legit NBA vet.
I know. But like he is there at Davis. I don't expect to see Dwayne Dedmon playing meaningful minutes for the Miami Heat on a night-to-night basis when they're fully healthy.
I
So do you
tend to
think
just
JB outcoached Spo, or do you think this is just JB kind of helped them weather the storm?
I think like ascribing like outcoach you sometimes can be like a tricky thing because there's just a lot that you don't see and like some of the buttons that they're hitting we just don't know just because like we don't have like the access to like be in the huddle play to play. What I think happens is the Cavs shot really hot from three. This team plays overall with energy. I think deserves a lot of credit for them kind of getting into, and this is not a situation where like I think they like it is like just XYZ. I think it is more of like this Cavs team is just like adult and playing at a level that they are just like, or like there's a Jared Allen block in this game that is like one of the contenders we could go for the night, but this wasn't like a Jared Allen like rotated and Darius Garland like walled Kyle Lowry coming into the lane. And Darius Garland like is playing with effort on defense. Ricky Rubio is like playing with effort on defense. This was also just a game that like you had a lot of things just kind of go right and some things that didn't go right, but they just kind of navigated. I think this Cavs team is just sort of like bought in general. And like, I think ascribing all the credit to the coach is tricky because I think the players also like, this is a player driven league. Like the players have to be the ones kind of fueling this, but like they clearly are buying into what is being laid out for them and they're playing in the way they are. And like, yeah, Miami and beat a team that is good. Like this is a Heat team like could be like a final contender. This is a Heat team that could like do real damage in the Eastern Conference. The Cavs they didn't have Jimmy Butler, they didn't have Bam Adebayo. The Cavs went and handled it, and like there was a lot of really impressive stuff along the way. And like I think that's all you can kind of really ask for is that again, this is a Cavs team that like we looked at this week and it was like, oh, the Mavs like are kind of a weird matchup. They won that game. They just went into Miami and won. We'll see what goes on. They've had some, they had some trouble with the Wizards early in the year. See if they can go in and navigate the Wizards on the road before they get Utah at home on Sunday week. But they're 2-0 on this tough week, and like that's much better than I think we could have expected.
Yeah, I mean, they're much better than we could have expected in general. But to shift lanes a little bit here, because we're kind of pressed for time for this segment. My big takeaway from this game is we at Locked On Cavs were wrong in saying that the Cavs should have committed serious money to Duncan Robinson because, oh boy, if he's looking bad in the Miami system, I don't know how he would look in a Cleveland system prior to them acquiring Larry Markkinen that had next to no spacing. So
yeah, I think he'll be fine. But yeah, he didn't play. He's not playing well.
No, I didn't think you mentioned to me like Heat fans are like chomping at the bit to trade him or get rid of him. I'm like, oh, he's not that bad. Then I watched him play. I'm like, oh, he's that bad. So I will admit, Justin Rowan, thank you for making us your third most listened podcast for the year 2021, because the fact that you host the official voice of the Cleveland Cavaliers podcast isn't enough for you. I commend you for that. But yeah, Duncan Robinson has been pretty bad this year, and we're not wrong often. We're usually right more often than not, especially Chris with his Isaac Okoro take. But Weird
We'll get
how
we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
we'll get our flowers one day, Chuck. But
No,
we
I
were
don't really
wrong
care.
about
No,
Duncan
I
Robinson.
just like annoying people sometimes because I just do what I do.
You
It's fun.
never.
No, no, that's because of you.
I'm looking at your Christmas gift right now. And damn, it is a banger. By the way, sorry.
I also got you a Christmas gift. This is weird.
Yeah, well, it's under my tree, not wrapped with care, but it's under my tree right now.
I have not wrapped yours yet. It is in the closet opposite of where I'm recording right now. Your partner knows what it is.
I know.
Oh, she snitched.
She didn't tell me what it was. She's like, "Hey, Chris is getting you something," and I'm like, "Oh,
Damn
I'm
it.
already getting Chris something." So she's
If
just
it's
like,
another Yoda doll, I'm gonna.
She didn't want me to look bad when you present me with a gift, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Well, here's a gift
Can
card I bought from the store."
let's make a public agreement now. Do you want to exchange at Cavs Rockets on December 15th? Are you going to that game? Because I will be at that game.
In town? Yeah, I'll be in town. So
All right, we're
yeah, let's
exchanging
do
men. We'll do a photo. Maybe we'll do it live on Twitter. It'll be a good time.
All right, let's do it. But Chris, Christmas shopping is hard this year, and you know who makes it easier for everyone? Today's sponsor, Shopify. You know what sound I love? The sound that makes me smile? The sound of money. And it's the sound of another sale on Shopify and the all-in-one commerce platform to start, run, and grow your business. In case you didn't know, Shopify is a complete commerce platform that lets you start, grow, and manage a business. The subscription-based software allows anyone to set up an online store and sell their products. Shopify store owners can also sell in physical locations using Shopify POS, our point of sale app, and accompanying hardware. Their point of sale app, not mine. Shopify gives entrepreneurs the resources once reserved for big businesses, so upstart startups and established businesses alike can sell everywhere, synchronize online and in-person sales, and effortlessly stay informed. Scaling your business is a journey of endless possibilities. Shopify helps you make your entrepreneurial dreams come true. I personally love how Shopify has the tools and resources to make it easy for any business to succeed from down the street to around the globe. Because you know me, I'm a sucker for shopping local. So if you're interested, go to shopify.com/lockedonnba, all lowercase, for a free 14-day trial to get full access to Shopify's entire suite of features. Go grow your business with Shopify today. Go to shopify.com/lockedonnba right now. Shopify.com/lockedonnba.
All right, Evan, let's get into our awards. Let's get into the awards. You go first. Who's
Chris,
your
we
game
have
MVP?
word from our other sponsor.
Oh, that's the second break. We got to tell everyone about our friends at our friends at BetOnline. BetOnline obviously is the best way to bet right now on sports. They've you covered all season for props, odds, and lines more than ever before as the football season continues to march to the playoffs. BetOnline remains the number one spot for all the sports action this year. Head to their new updated desktop or mobile site to sign up today and receive that 50% welcome bonus. All you got to do is use the promo code Locked On. That is all one word in caps to receive that bonus. From basketball to football to NHL to boxing to UFC to your favorite Vegas casino games, don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports, and it's BetOnline, and that's where the game starts. Boom. Did it. Crushed it.
There you go.
Anyway.
Capitalism.
All right, Evan, awards. Your MVP for this game is whom?
See, this is tough because I think the obvious pick would be Jared Allen because he was the best player. But I'm going to give some shouts to our main man, Kevin Love. That was my other takeaway from this game. If we needed something else to talk about, I was also wrong about Kevin Love. He has been very good in his role for the Cavs this year. 6 of 8 from 3. He hit the most 3-pointers for Cleveland. Kind of turned back the clock a little bit against a very old Miami team. Maybe it's just an old man thing, but 22 points on 6 of 9 shooting. Very nice. Along with 6 rebounds, 3 assists.
They do say old people do well in Florida. So,
That's true. He's maybe Kevin Love's a snowbird at this point. 2 steals and 1 block. And, it was that's going to go hand in hand with my stat that Kevin Love got a part of the Miami block party last night. So Kevin Love was great. I was wrong, I'll admit, about him fully adapting to this bench role. I thought there was going to be some bumps in the road, but he has really done well in this position for the Cavs, and he has become a meaningful veteran for this Cavs team too. So I know Chris is a proponent of never stretch, but I will say never waive Kevin Love right now. I mean, the other shoe could drop, but for now, I'm just going to enjoy it while I can. Who's your MVP pick?
Yeah, just a note on Kevin Love. It is nuts that he is playing well, and I feel like we haven't even seen him shoot like that. Like his numbers would indicate he's not he's shooting well below his career numbers. Like it isn't until last night. Like he hadn't had a flamethrower kind of Kevin Love game really. He's been good. I think everyone should be kind of a little surprised. I wonder if like if you ask the Cavs like privately, if they're like surprised to some degree. Like publicly, like JB's gonna like defend it and as he should. But like if you like got like, like front office execs like true simmer in their arms, like I would wonder if they're like a little surprised. I would tend to
I
think they
mean,
probably are a little bit.
could you blame him though? He
No,
had a
that's what I'm
pretty bad
saying.
year last
That's what
year.
I'm saying.
Team USA stuff happens. I thought his calf was going to be
The
like a ticking time bomb
the,
waiting for his
the
Achilles to rupture.
Yeah, the Team USA stuff is like one of those things that there's like a lot that
Like the Team
I
USA thing
yeah,
was the last gasp effort on the Cavs part to say, okay, Kev, go play with like some of the best in the world. If you can rehab your value a little bit, we can get you out of here pronto.
yeah.
Didn't work, and now he's thriving in Cleveland.
Yeah, and he's again the attitude seems right, which is kind of like half the battle I think with this
Yep.
argument. Mine's Darius Garland because I think that Darius Garland continues to just have utter control of what is happening on the floor. To a degree, I don't even think this was necessarily like a great game from him. Right, 16 points, 6 of 13 shooting, 4 of 8 from three, 7 assists versus 5 turnovers, 3 runs. Jared Allen like objectively was probably better in everything. I just kind of think that I watched Darius in this game and it felt like everything just kind of flowed through him. He fed a lot of those Jared Allen lobs. He kept the offense moving. He played really good defense in ways that, obviously isn't going to show up in like the box score, but like it's he continues to, I think, be a better defensive player this season. I think Darius is just good. And I think even on nights where like he isn't statistically not having like a great night, I felt like he was impacting the game in a positive way. So I just want to salute that. I think the leap, like this to me, the highs that we will see from him are really, really key and show you that the leap is happening. I think this is like another proof that like qualitatively he's having a kind of a good night. Evan, my stat of the night, Cavs were 16 of 31, 51.6% from three. This was Darius Garland was 4 of 8. Evan Mobley was 2 of 3. Kevin Love, as you noted, was 6 of 8. Lamar Stevens was 2 of 3 from 3. Denzel Valentine hit 1 off the bench. This was on a night
Duncan
where
Robinson was 0 of 6, just to remind folks that we were once again wrong.
Evan's actually just a really big closet Ohio State fan. Is just really bitter about Michigan winning the game on Saturday. This was with Lowry Markkanen, 1 of 5. With Isaac Okoro not taking one. With Jared Allen obviously not taking one. Like the Cavs just like shot the heck out of the ball from 3 on a night where like they kind of needed to. They kind of just Kevin Love got hot. Lamar Stevens hit a really nice catch and shoot 3 to kind of like in a way that you wouldn't necessarily expect. The Mobley hitting 2 threes is kind of big on a net where he took a little bit to get comfortable. Like Darius even hit that little 3 where he lost his handle and had to just kind of throw it up and he made it. Like they just had some stuff break their way and they had a hot night from 3 and like that is I think part of the reason why they kind of navigated some of the pressure and the zone that he threw them in the second quarter.
Exactly, because there was a point where the Heat threw a zone at the Cavs and they responded. I think it was either Evan Mobley or it could have even been Kevin Love that just drained a 3. And Nekias Duncan pointed this out too. Like it was not wise on the Heat's part to run a zone, and when the Cavs could just run high-low action between Evan Mobley and Kevin Love on the floor at the same time. Like I think that's something JB needs to explore more of. But yeah, this 3-point shooting may not happen every night, especially with Lamar Stevens hitting 2 3-pointers. But
I can guarantee you that it will not happen on most nights. It will not shoot this well from 3 on most nights.
But on the other hand, Larry Markkanen also won't go 1 of 5 from 3. I think Ricky Rubio maybe hit a 3-pointer or 2 instead of going 0 for like he did last night. There's some encouraging signs that Cavs players that normally don't step up did step up, and I think the players that you usually expect to step up from the perimeter will continue to do so. I think it's super encouraging. Evan Mobley, 3 of his 10 shot attempts were from beyond the arc. Like I think watching his shot profile change in real time is really cool, especially considering he's still rehabbing from an elbow injury. So, and the fact that he didn't really do any damage in the first half and he did all of his damage in the second half is just even more impressive. But speaking of Mobley and damage, my stat of the night pick are the blocks the Cavs had. They had 14 in total. The starting lineup had 10, excuse me. Jared Allen had 5, which is, I believe, a career high for him. I'm not sure. Evan Mobley had 4. Isaac Okoro had 1 to wrap up the 10 for the starting lineup. And then coming off the bench, you also had Lamar Stevens with 2, Kevin Love with 1, which is, super impressive. Then good guy Ed Davis in less than 4 minutes played had 1 as well. So yeah, no, JB really wants this team to be a defense-first team. I think they are 3rd overall in defensive rating after last night's game, 21st in offensive rating, which is to be expected. But if the Cavs keep grinding out games like this where they just really hold teams to like this reminds me a lot of the Clippers game, like where the fact that like maybe the Cavs don't have the gunpowder, the gumption. Like if this Heat team is at full apex, if they grinded it out with this Miami squad and they're able to hit threes like they did and it gets them the win, like these are impressive wins that the Cavs can put their feathers and their caps in and say like, yeah, they're a good defensive team. And like you said, they have Darius Garland bought in on defense, who objectively should not be a good defender. He was not leading up to this point, but he is a good defender at this point. You have Larry Markkinen playing good defense. You have Dean Way playing good defense when he's available. You have Kevin Love playing good defense at times. Like this Cavs team's good defensively, and I think 14 block shots is indicative of that.
Yeah, Cavs are 5th in cleaning the glass, so factoring out
garbage time.
Top 5: Golden State, Phoenix, the Clippers, the Celtics, the Cavs, the Jazz come in at 6th. So you get a little top 10 defense matchup on Sunday at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. All right, Evan, your just play of the night is what?
That Darius Garland buzzer beater 3 at the end of the third quarter. Like it was just, it's hypey. Like that's all it is. And I mean that or every Darius Garland connection to Jared Allen on a lob pass, because in my migraine riddled fog, I was still able to get out a shot at Baker Mayfield. The fact that Darius Garland was able to connect with a former New York receiver regularly, but Darius Garland's buzzer beater 3 is like you said, like this wasn't the best game statistically for Darius, but he was still a presence the whole night. But he still had a pretty hype play. And I was just like, oh, okay, yeah. Like, I need to see more of that Darius Garland still. But, like, we're starting to see more of that Darius Garland as time goes on. And I'm not going to victory lap on behalf of the organization, but I'm starting to see what the Cavs saw in him. And it makes me more comfortable to say, like, yeah, I mean, we already agreed that this was the best player the Cavs could have taken with that 5th overall pick. But it definitely creates a clear distance when you have people saying, like, well, what about XYZ players as well?
My play is the Kevin Love outletting to Lamar Stevens, who then lobbed to Jared Allen, who then got an and one. We haven't just seen very much Kevin full court outlet passing this year. It just hasn't been a thing as of yet. And in this case, it just was Kevin whipping one and Lamar made a really nice play. So I just want to, that just deserves a shout out. All right. After the break, we are going to dive into some of the other little tidbits from the game, little takeaways. I'm going to talk a lot about Evan Mobley switching on a Tyler Hero because I loved every time that happened because Evan Mobley freaking rocks. But Evan, you have another ad read for us.
I do. Do you know why free trials renew without your consent? It's a business game out to get you. Do not let greedy corporations pocket your money. Download TrueBill to take control of your subscriptions today. TrueBill is the new app that helps you identify and stop paying for subscriptions you don't want, need, or simply forgot about. On average, people save up to $720 a year with TrueBill. Because companies make subscriptions hard to cancel, TrueBill makes it incredibly simple. Just link your accounts and TrueBill will cancel your unwanted subscriptions in one tap. And your TrueBill concierge is there when you need them to cancel unwanted subscriptions so you don't have to. TrueBill has over 2 million users and they have helped save them over $100 million. It's a lot of Skrilla. Don't fall for subscription scams. Start canceling today at truebill.com/lockedonnba. Go right now. Truebill.com/lockedonnba. It could save you thousands a year. Truebill.com/lockedonnba. And together we'll win the war on free trial renewal without our consent.
That's right.
All right. The war on Christmas. We're going to win that too.
Oh my God.
There's a war on Christmas, Chris, and they're winning.
Yeah, there's
who they are, we'll never know.
Yeah, it's you angling for a job at like bad places. You're just gonna be like Tom on Succession, like taking the wrong drugs at the wrong time and walking through a pub. Are you?
I'm just gonna get more red.
Watch Succession. I'm gonna bully our mutual friend Ashley Bastock into making you watch Succession because you.
Well, aren't they a big fan of Barstool over at Succession?
Well, look, Nicholas Braun is. We're not talking about Nicholas Braun's cousin Greg though. He doesn't know that IP. Anyway, God, I hate when you do this. Anyway, Cavs takeaways. I just want to start with the fact that Evan Mobley absolutely gobbled up Tyler Hero on a lot of switches. And like Evan Mobley, like again, I think is not comfortable as an offensive player yet. is not
Uh-uh.
comfortable like figuring out how to like find his effectiveness on the offensive end. I think the growing pains for him are clearly more on the offensive side of the ball than the defensive side of the ball.
He's
And
a
it
bit of a
shows.
box score MVP is what you're trying to say.
Not really. I'm just trying to say what I'm trying to say. But Evan Mobley would get a bunch of switches onto Hero, and Hero just is like, I don't know what to like. With like the first time he tried to get a step back, and he just like it was way short because he just didn't have enough room to get it off. He had to like Mobley's length and quickness just kind of eats it up. And then every time the rest of the game they do that switch, and he's just like either would give up the ball or like try to drive into him and then dribble. Like it was just like Evan Mobley switching on two guards is effective defense. And like Heroes had a really good year. He's had a really nice bounce back year for him. And Mobley just kind of like gobbled him up. And Hero is one of the better players for the Heat in this game, in my mind, aside from the moments where Mobley just kind of gobbled him up. So Evan Mobley, again, I think he's just like quite good.
Yeah, no, I think that's not that hot of a take at this point. I think
I just like love watching him switch. It is just so fun to watch him like switch on the guards. And then the first time a guard like thinks they're going to be able to like do something with it because it's a big, it doesn't always work. Like, and then after that, it like it's just altering the game in some ways.
I think it's really encouraging because him and Scotty Barnes both are just so good defensively and like their offensive potential is unlimited. I think that's what makes me so excited about the future of this league is when you look at Evan Mobley, you look at what Scotty Barnes is doing in Toronto, and then I mean obviously Cade in Detroit, like those are the three leaders for the rookie of the year race, I feel at this point. And defensively, how advanced Mobley is just super impressive. I think, like you said, he isn't fully comfortable offensively, but like the defensive package is already there. And it's just super exciting what the Cavs are able to work with. I think the fact that they're able to switch him and Jared on the perimeter is super encouraging and super fun too. Like that is a wrinkle I did not expect. Like I expected Mobley to be heading into the season primarily just a paint defender. And that teams would just kind of exploit because he's just so tall and kind of looks like you assume he's like awkward because of how tall and lanky he is because considering his age, but the fact that he's so fluid and comfortable in his body is just like really encouraging too. I just think I don't know, man. I've just been high on Evan Mobley for a while. Chris, would you be opposed for the Cavs finagling a move to get his brother Isaiah on the team? Because Isaiah's been really good for Southern Cal. And like he was supposed to be the better Mobley, and then Evan came into USC and just kind of took them by storm. So that's why he stayed back here to like bump up his draft stock.
There's a tradition in the NBA of like having your brother like on in their organization. Chris Smith with the New York Knicks. You know, we can look. Cleveland Charge probably consider big. I don't know. Evan, give me a little.
Bro,
little
Isaiah
pop.
Mobley's considered like a top 20 pick this year.
I look. It is too early for me to like.
Because the Cavs might be drafting in the top 20s, man. We just got to keep our options open.
They have a wing need. They have a wing need more than
Evan Mobley can play on the perimeter, dude.
Okay, give me stop.
Give me my takeaway.
Yeah, give me another one.
Just the fact that Tyler Herro is really excited for the Matrix reboot based on his place and fit.
Okay, give me an give me a basketball one. I don't care about Tyler
basketball one.
Yeah. This is
it was the fact that Kevin Love has really been beneficial in his role for the Cavs. Like I did not expect it whatsoever. Like I expected him to be so bad that the Cavs have to be scaled back. But the other thing is I think it's time for folks to start selling stock on Dylan Windler Island and like start selling their land and maybe moving it elsewhere.
Thank you. This is this is the substance I was looking for. I was trying to
I was trying to lead into it a little bit because it's something we're asked about a lot.
You were trying to kill time. You were trying to kill time. Just admit it's fine. Just continue.
Anyways, I think Dylan Windler, the idea, like Chris said, and we both said at this point, the idea of Dylan Windler makes so much sense on this cast team. He's a big-bodied forward who can hit threes. He can provide tertiary, sometimes primary player making. He can play defense, and he can rebound. I think part of the problem is JB likes to lean on guys that he knows more, and I think that's why you see Lamar Stevens getting those minutes that he does, even with Cedi Osman out. Because if this Cavs team's fully healthy, I think we hardly see Lamar Stevens. I think it's going to be like the bench rotation is on a night-to-night basis would be Ricky, Cedi, Kevin, and then like the ninth man is either Dean Wade or Lamar Stevens at that point. But people keep asking us, and I've kind of wondered it myself for a while too, is why the heck does Dylan Windler not get minutes? I think part of it is JV is a creature of habit. This is a problem he had in Memphis. This is a problem he had in Houston. It's probably going to be a problem he has in Cleveland as well, where he leans on guys he fully trusts, because I also cannot say I fully can rely on Dylan Windler on a night-to-night basis. Like, there's moments he pops. You're like, okay, yeah, I can see something there. And then, like, he plays 5 minutes a night, so there's not a lot you can say, like, okay, you can firmly say Dylan Windler is going to be a part of this rotation. But the fact that Jetty Osman has been out for 2 games now, and the fact that Dylan Windler cannot crack the rotation in that regard, like on a consistent basis. Like, yes, he played in both games, but it was in garbage time against Miami, and he played sporadically against Orlando before that, or sorry, Dallas before that. I think it's just time for the Cavs and their fans to say, like, they're moving on. Like, I think them picking up his contract option is saying, we still believe in you. We still think you are a beneficial player. He might be more of a trade chip at this point, just as a salary to match salary in a deal. But to jump off something else he said, I think it'd be super beneficial for both the Cavs and Dylan to send him down to the Charge for 10, 15 games and let him just get some serious burn within the same offensive ecosystem, just for the Cavs to finally get a full evaluation of what they have right now with Dylan Windler too, because you're not going to get it. Like, yes, they track his movement, and he's had the most movement because based on the tracking they've had in practices and stuff, but that doesn't mean much. And like, you can watch him in like exhibition scenarios where guys aren't going full bore the entire time. But if you put him down in with the Charge, you can really get a full idea of what you have. And then the Cavs can finally say either they should move on, or the front office approaches JB and says, okay, we have a lot of this tangible footage here in data that says like Dylan can be beneficial. Get him more minutes in the rotation. Because I think that's the only way you're going to get JB to budge and stop playing Lamar Stevens so much. And like last night, like I said, Lamar Stevens is not going to go 2 of 3 from 3 on a night-to-night basis. And if Dylan Windler can reliably be a shooter off the bench for the Cavs, I don't see why they don't play him. But at this point, I think people need to give up on the idea of Dylan Windler for the time being.
Yes.
My take evolved in real time there, because I firmly said give up on it for now.
Good job. Anyway, my last one is just, I think Isaac Okoro like played really well. Watched him defend Tyler Hero, and Hero got him a couple times, but he really just grinds on dudes. And look, offensively, again, I know didn't take a 3, but like made a little pull up. He pump faked and took a little pull up jumper out of the right corner, which was nice. Had some good cutting. Had a real transition off of a long rebound. He just pushed and had a nice Euro step. I think again, this isn't like a new take for me, but I really think like he's just going to be fine. Again, it's not always going to be clean, and the 3-point shot has to come in a meaningful way, I think, for him to reach his potential. But I think he's going to impact the game in a positive way when he's on the floor. And I think you're just seeing a guy who, even if it's not our sort of fetishized like 3-and-D kind of thing, I think there's going to be a role for this guy because I think he's good. And what it ultimately looks like is he ultimately like a bit better as a bench piece? Maybe is he ultimately kind of like too limiting as a starter that plays 30 minutes a night because of the shot? I don't think that's like out of the question down the road, but I think you're still figuring that out. And I think he showed in growth the last couple of games in ways that is really, really encouraging after he kind of had a start to the year. We'll see about the shot, obviously, but I thought he played really, really well in Miami. All right, That is going to be it for this episode of Locked On Cavs. We want to thank you again for making Locked On Cavs your first listen or your first watch. If you're looking for a second episode, go check out the Locked On Network today. Go check out the Locked On Bets podcast from your boy Q and gambling expert Lee Sterling. Check that out wherever you're getting your podcasts. Evan, anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
No, just subscribe to me on Write Down Euclid. The numbers are kind of going up and up and up. I'm going to be running some Christmas deals close to the holidays to give people some free trial subscriptions that they want. Again, if you're listening to us on Spotify, let us know about us being under Spotify Unwrapped. We'll give you a shout out at the top of the show, maybe at the end too. We have a lot of them. I should do a better job of noting this stuff ahead of time, but the Cavs are fun, man, and did not expect them to be 12-10, 22 games into the season.
Yeah, I'm gonna go buy some new feelings and a new car. Shouts to Tyler Baudelaire. This has been Locked On Cavs. We'll talk to you tomorrow ahead of Cavs Wiz.